so we've done a video on casting on. Now I'm going to do a video of slip knot, sorry. Now I'm just going to show you how to hold your yarn, because that's really important once you've got it cast on. So I'm going to just get onto my hook. I'm using this really chunky yarn and a big hook just so that you can see better what I'm doing. Now how I hold my yarn, sorry, I was like, hold my, is I just lay it on these 3 fingers and I use my little finger just to anchor it, and then I just wrap it under the back of my index finger, and then I use my middle and thumb to hold my work. So don't worry about what I'm actually doing in terms of chaining, because I'm going to show you how to do that later. And then it just runs nice and smoothly, and I can move my fingers up to hold my work when it's getting a bit longer, and I have nice sort of tension going then. Some people wrap it round the little finger, then the back of the hands. All sorts of different ways of wrapping it round and getting comfortable with it. But if you just think about a sewing machine and how a sewing machine has tension, it's not just going from the spool to the needle. The same with crochet, but you need to create that sort of tension mechanism using your hand and just weaving it around a couple of times. One of the important things in getting your tension right is, and what right is whatever is right for you, by the way, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But one of the important things is to have your yarn nice and loose. If it's all wrapped up tightly on a ball, it's going to make life harder for you. So always pull off a good bit of yarn to work with, and then, you know, once you're running out of that, pull some more off. I don't mean cut it off, I just mean pull it loose from your ball. So there's my ball of wool, so I just pulled myself a bit off, and then I'll leave that on the side, and then this is my little loose heap which is flowing nicely. Now you'll see on some patterns that it'll say, and we'll talk about patterns and stuff in other videos, but it might say that you get 10 stitches, sorry, I'm just really uncomfortable. It might say you get 10 stitches to an inch or something, and what you should do is just stitch your own 10 stitches and see if that's an inch. If you find you're getting 8 stitches to an inch because your tension's looser, then just change the pattern or use a smaller hook. And until you are getting 10 stitches to a hook to an inch. But we'll talk about all that. It's all confusing for a beginner. It's just that you just need a little bit of tension. If you don't have tension, I'll show you what happens. I'll just log on. I'll just cast on. If you don't have any tension, I mean, you can't crochet. That's the long and the short of it. You can hold your yarn, but I mean, you're just going to go into a natural position where you get some tension going, because you can't just keep... I've seen people do this as well, where, let me zoom in a little tad. I've seen people do this where they're trying to crochet and they're just sort of going like this, and then they're pulling it through there, and I mean, you can kind of do that. I'm still getting tension by just doing that, but you're going to end up, you're not ending up with what I ended up with when I had the tension, are you? You've still got the stitches there, but it's not exactly going to be a fantastic project. So work on finding out what is your comfortable hold, and that will help you with your tension. So, you know, try a few different ones. Like I say, mine's sort of that, and that kind of comes naturally to me. It's not as elaborate as some people. Some people, like I say, you know, they go over and over and over, but I just find anchoring with my little finger, going over the back, the inside of these 2 fingers and over the back of that finger, and holding my work with these fingers and keeping that finger nice and straight, it just kind of helps. And I think it's a comfortable hand position, because if you look at my hand, it's just, it's actually in quite a relaxed, apart from this finger that's tensed, it's just quite a relaxed natural hold. If you think about hands, they're not meant to be like that when they're relaxed. When hands are relaxed, they're like that. And that's kind of, you know, as close as to relaxed as I'm going to get, apart from this one finger sticking up. And so it's just going to be easier on your hands and on your joints and everything to have a nice relaxed hold. So I'll just show you again how I hold mine. But like I said, it's up to you. So I kind of hold like that. You don't want to have too much of a gap between your finger and your working sort of point, because then you'll kind of lose your tension. But you need to have enough just to get your hook in and grab it. The other thing is, if you're pulling hard on this, you're going to make your stitches tighter and you're going to find real trouble. Look, I'm pulling hard. You're going to find real trouble getting your hook through. So be relaxed about the way you're holding that. Hold it sort of firmly so it's not going anywhere, but don't pull it. Don't pull it down. You can sort of guide it sort of downwards, but don't tug on it, because if you're tugging on that, not only are you going to be stretching, I can feel the pain in my wrist here, not only are you going to be working your ligaments raw, but you're also not going to be able to get your hook through. The whole point of crochet is to be able to get hold of yarn and pull it smoothly through a loop. And the more smoothly you pull it through a loop, the more uniform your stitches are, and the neater and tidier your work's going to look as a result. Okay? And the less snags you're going to get, because if you're fighting to get your hook through, you might pick up bits of stray yarn, you might pull splinter your yarn, and you'll end up in a right mess. So get that tension right, just work on it, okay? And also, I want to just talk in this video a little bit about hold, in terms of how you're holding your crochet hook. Now, when I first started, I could not get this tension business right at all. And so I used to crochet over the back of my finger. And this works. It works for me because I still had some tension. I still had hold of my yarn like this. But I just found that it worked. I can't even do it now. It just worked better for me working really close to my finger. And I used to crochet like this, which wasn't ideal because it made my tension quite tight. And there's a lot of action going on there. Look, both my hands are twisting and whatever. Still in quite a natural hold. I could sew for quite a long time like that. But it was the only way I could actually sew. And I'm getting quite a uniform stitch there. And it's not too tight and yeah, it's working. But yeah, it was the only way I could actually sew. I just couldn't do it while it was like out like this. So if the only way you can sew is over the back of your finger, sew over the back of your finger, because once you've got used to crocheting and you're more confident and competent, you'll find that one day you'll just think, oh, I can do it like that after all, and it'll just come to you. I thought I was the only person in the world who crocheted over the back of the finger, and I don't even crochet in front of anybody because I thought, oh my goodness, nobody crochets like this. And then one day I watched a video and a lady on there was crocheting exactly the same way. And I thought, oh, other people do crochet over the back of the finger. I'm not abnormal, it's fine. But can you see how the stitch has grown slightly there when I crocheted those last few over my finger? So it's not as uniform as it would be had you can see where it sort of bulges where I've crocheted over my finger. So the tension's changed. So what I would say is, if you're going to crochet over the back of your finger, or if you're going to have your tension in a certain way, just be consistent throughout that work or that piece of work. With that, don't crochet like this and then change your tension so it's tighter, and because you're just going to end up with a mess. So just be consistent and just keep trying and try what's comfortable for you. And also how you hold your hook. Some people crochet like this. And to be honest, I can't do this because, well, I can, but I find it really uncomfortable. My wrist is just, it's just twisted in an unnatural manner. So I can't crochet like this. I crochet in what they call like the pencil hold. And I use my index finger just to sort of steady my work quite a lot. But you can do a more grippy pencil hold if that's what you're comfortable with, or you can do a more relaxed hold, just more or less holding your hook with the 2 fingers on the centre section. Whatever suits you. So do play around, and what I'd say is get crocheting. Once you've mastered how to make a stitch, then just crack on and get crocheting, and you'll find the ways that you're comfortable with, and you'll find your tension eventually. Don't expect to just start today and make an amazing project with no faults. That's not going to happen. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to drop stitches, you're going to split stitches, your tension's going to be all over the place, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to use the wrong hook, you're going to get halfway through a project and change to the wrong size hook, you're going to run out of a colour and not be able to get it again. I've done all of these things myself. Don't worry, just get started and just keep doing it, keep practicing, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you find what's comfortable for you and what's right for you. So don't panic if you're following a tutorial of mine or anyone else's and you're not holding your yarn and hook exactly as they are, because we all have our ways of doing it. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, and I hope it reassured you, and I hope that it gave you a little bit of incentive to just keep on trying, because it's great fun, it's a great craft, it's inexpensive, it's simple once you get going, and you can make some amazing things. It's just so relaxing, and in this world we need anything we can get our hands on to help us relax. So watch out for my other Absolute Beginners videos, and they are very very basic and very simple, and I'm sort of talking from the heart about things that I experience problems with, so hopefully you'll find them useful. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.